Awesome. So we're going to get started. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the last meeting of March. Can you believe it? This year, gone. First quarter, done. Are you on your mark with your goals? Yes, yes. I know you are. Look at you, just a rock star. Okay, we're going to get moving here. Oops, I have to do one more thing. Let's do this. There we go. Okay, just want to give a weekly shout out to our fabulous affiliates, Legendary Escrow, Orange Coast Title, Prosperity Mortgage is in the house. I'm so excited about that, and they are already doing really great things. So thank you to them. They'll be in our office next week. But congratulations on our March listings. We are getting there. We have a couple more days to slide them in. So congratulations to those of you who have gotten out there. It's not easy. I certainly know that. And I know you have to make it happen. And you guys definitely are. So congratulations to you on all your listings. They're selling quickly, but I know I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I'm feeling a little shift here with some buyers. They're not more hitting the market, and not as many multiple offers are coming in. So that's a really great thing in my humble opinion. And in escrow, congratulations. Our goal, let's see, our goal was 45, and so far, I forgot to count. Oh no, it did. I forgot to total. So, but we're getting close. So it doesn't matter. Just keep getting them in there. If you've got an escrow or a transaction that just opened, please get it into SkySlope. All these numbers are coming directly from SkySlope. But definitely congratulations on getting those listings and getting them into escrow. We're going to cover just a couple things today, but there are things that are really important. And I know it's one of those subjects that as soon as I say it, everybody goes, ugh, because nobody wants to do them. And I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But if you are, there's a few things that you need to know. And we're going to talk about leasing versus property management a little bit. And we're just going to talk about a couple things that I'm seeing on almost a daily basis. And I was on the phone with our designated broker, Forrest Barbie, and he made it clear how he wanted to make sure things are being handled. And so I thought, well, we need to have a conversation about that, because I think it's across the board. What I see out of most brokerages is, well, they're doing things the easy way, not the correct way. And there is a big difference. And sometimes, we get a little lazy because, well, quite frankly, the payday is not big on leases, is it? Or property management. So we want to get it done as quickly and easy as possible, but we got to be smart and we got to do it according to the contract. So we're going to talk about that for just a second. One thing I want you to have in your arsenal at all times, because these things pop up. People will call you and say, hey, I need to lease a house. And first and foremost, if you don't want to do a lease, that's fine. We're not saying you, the purpose of this is for not to make you run out and say, I'm going to focus on leasing. The purpose of this is to let you know we have agents that have their property management certification, Kana being one of them. We have agents that do leasing. And so if you personally don't want to do it, check with me or check with one of the other agents before you just send them away or give it to somebody else. Let's start in our office first, because we have some really good agents who take care of that stuff. But if you're thinking, and why would we do leases? I think the most part, the biggest reason why we do leases is an accommodation to our buying and selling clients, right? They want to purchase a property and then they want to lease it out. We can help them with that, right? Or if they're an investor, we can help them with that. Or, they're seasonal. I mean, I got to tell you, one of my clients that I think I had the most transactions because of came from a lease. It's the referrals and the subsequent referrals and the business that they did, and they just started coming out for seasonal leases. And they ultimately said, if we ever buy, you're the only person we're going to go through. And they did. I mean, I can attribute probably $5 million of business to these clients alone that came in as a walk-in as a lease when I was just an agent. So I don't mean just an agent. I mean, I wasn't in management at that time. I was just selling. So you know, they can be very profitable. But with that said, you have to be knowledgeable. And just remember that is part of your code of ethics. You have a duty to be knowledgeable. So there is this guide, and it's called the Landlord Tenant Guide, and you can get it on the CAR website. And I'm going to email it out with the meeting handouts, but the Landlord Tenant Guide is very thorough. And it just gives like Q&A, the most frequently asked questions, but it covers creating the landlord-tenant relationship. It covers security deposits, and security deposits are a big deal. You know, if we're managing the property, the money is going straight to the homeowner, and just know the homeowner has 21 days to either return the security deposit or return the receipts or estimates of repair for whatever the tenant may have damaged, with the remaining security deposit by the 21st day. Because on day 22, even if they burn that place down, the tenant gets their entire deposit back. So things like that are really important that you need to let your homeowner know. If you're taking a lease listing, you need to know things like that. You need to know that there are pre-move out inspection procedures that, you know, especially on long term, you want to be giving them the opportunity to fix something that may have gone wrong. Tenant responsibilities, landlord remedies, landlord responsibilities, and tenant remedies. Transfer of property by landlord, transfer of leasehold by tenant, termination of tenancy. I know we're dealing a lot with that right now, just for people who now want to sell and there's a tenant in the property. Abandoned personal property and abandoned tenancy, the eviction process, foreclosure, bankruptcy, and other issues. All that is in this wonderful little guide here. So I do recommend you have it, you save it. If you have a client who's thinking of leasing, whether it be the homeowner or the tenant, it's a good guide to just email over to them and say, here, let me give you some basic information. So it ups your value. And remember, you're looking for referrals, right? You may not make a ton of money on the leasing part of it, but if you take care of them and make them feel like they matter, they're going to be referring people to you. So that's part of your business plan. So that's the first thing, the landlord tenant guide and the handout. Let's say we're taking, and there's different ways you could be involved in a lease. And the first way is we just are going to list a property for lease, right? We have a homeowner that says, look, I don't want to sell because I really like this investment, but I'm thinking about throwing a tenant in there. Super, no problem. We can help you with that, right? But if we're not managing it, and we're going to talk about management in a minute, if we are just taking a lease listing, our role is to get the lease listing, market and advertise it, bring a tenant, and complete the paperwork, right? Once the paperwork is complete and all the contracts are signed, literally you are done. Your role is finished. So from that point on, landlord and tenant are communicating with each other. A toilet breaks, the tenant calls the landlord. They have an issue with something, the tenant calls the landlord. Landlord has any questions, landlord calls the tenant, right? Landlord needs to go in the house. They're not calling you saying, hey, can you check with the tenant? The answer is no, you need to contact that tenant directly. It's all between the landlord and tenant. And so that if we step in now, whether we admit it or not, we start handling it as a property management. And if we do that without a property management agreement, now you're in violation. So you have to be very careful there. All the rent checks and move-in funds, they're to be made payable directly to the owner. And instead of sending them here, have them sent directly to the homeowner, right? You're not managing the property. So if move-in funds are due on April 1st, you'll let them know that, you know, move-in funds are due on April 1st, Mr. Tenant, please make your check payable to Happy Homeowner and mail it directly to them at this particular address. When Happy Homeowner gets all the move-in funds, guess what? Happy Homeowner's writing a commission check to Berkshire Hathaway, and that is what's being mailed to our office. And then you're responsible, not Berkshire Hathaway, we have a form and we can show you how it works. But what we will do is we take that because lease listing and we've promised a commission to the tenant agent, right? So we take that commission payment, we send it up to Melissa Powell. She writes your check, she writes the outside broker's check, and that's how everybody gets paid. So all move-in funds go to the homeowner. Homeowner pays our commission checks, and then we divvy it up the way we're supposed to. All right. And of course, we're going to need a W-9 for them. So just let the other agent know, just send me a copy of your W-9 and we can have it on file. So as soon as the commission payment comes in, we'll get it right out to you quickly and there's no delay. That's usually the number one delay if the outside broker hasn't gotten their check, is because we never got a W-9 from them. And anytime we're handing out money, we need a W-9. So any questions on just the lease listing portion? Nope, I got one in the chat here. Let me just make sure what that is. My voice is cutting in and out. Let me try a different thing. Okay, we'll try that one. And if it's still cutting in and out, just let me know. Okay, the next thing we have is when we represent a tenant. And this is a lot out there. Oh my goodness. If you don't have a list of people looking for a tenant property right now, you're a lucky person. It seems like everybody's looking for leases and they're just as hard to find as a sale. Not easy right now. So it's constant, set yourself up on listing alerts or whatever. But, to handle those, just like anything else, you're going to search the MLS. You're going to put the word out. Hey, I'm looking, I have a family who's looking for this, or I have a person who's looking for that. And you just get that word out and you try to locate a property that works for your tenant. When found, the tenant needs to complete an application to rent. It's on zip forms. Now on seasonal rents, because there's seasonal rent, and understand seasonal is up to 6 months. Long-term is over 6 months is how it's considered. So if it's a seasonal property, they pay everything up front, right? So they're going to pay the security deposit, the move-in, everything. The entire rent gets paid all at once. So it could be, that seasonal leases are awesome because, you make pretty decent money and it doesn't take a long time to get everything done. So it's not bad. Long-term leases, then of course the credit checks come into play. But if it's a seasonal, they only really need to fill out the personal portion of the application because we're not doing a credit check because they're paying everything up front. Again, long-term, there are a couple programs such as Rent Spree that agents can use for credit checks. If you went to the CAR website and started looking up lease information, there's a series of vendors there also. I forget, one is Move something. There's a few of them that you can do. And what basically how it works is you have your tenant's email addresses, right? So you go in, you fill it out with the property address, you put in your client's name and email address, and then they will send your client a link that your client will log into, pay, upload their credit card for their credit report. The thing, it runs their credit, it does the application process. Once that's done, it emails you saying their information is ready. And now you've got their credit report and their application that you can submit to the listing agent. The listing agent is the one responsible for writing the lease documents. They know about the HOAs. They know how many keys are available. They know, what if there's a cap on utilities or who's paying the utilities. They have all this information. But what I see out there almost on a daily basis is there's a lot of lazy listing agents out there. So they tell the tenant agent, yeah, just write it up and send it to me. And that's not appropriate. So if that happens, I mean, I would write it, but I'm going to write it in favor of my tenant. Really? If you want me to write this lease. So, but we do use, just so you know, we use the residential month-to-month lease agreements because those are required on anything over 30 days. All right. There are some listing agents on a short-term lease. And when I say short-term, I mean 2 to 3 months lease. And they try to get away with using the vacation rental agreement. Because it's short, it's sweet, it's really super easy. But right at the top of the vacation rental agreement, it's in big bold letters to be used for leases 29 days or less, right? So right out the cut, if you're using that and it's over 30 days, you're not doing it right for your client. So make sure that the right lease agreement is being used. So 30 plus days is the residential lease month to month, 29 days or less is the vacation rental agreement. Now, we don't broker lease listings for less than 29 days. And the reason we don't is because of the TOTS, the transient occupancy taxes that you're responsible to be paying. So that's a whole different breed, whole different ball game. Our leases that we take as listings are 30 days or longer, and then you don't have to worry about that. But if you have a tenant who wants to lease a property for a week, on the tenant side, that's not an issue. We can certainly do that. You get yourself paid and, move on. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Property management. Okay, we're going to just real quickly talk about property management. And because of the high liability involved in property management, this is not something that we really encourage our sales executives to do. I know many do it, again, as a courtesy, as an additional resource for their business plan or their clients, but there are very strict parameters that you have to look at. And number one rule, if you're even thinking, I really want to do some property management, because in all reality, if you get a few nice long-term property managed properties, that's monthly income for you, right? But step one is you have to get your property management certification. It is not allowed without a certification, and that you're going to get through CAR. Okay. To be certified as a property manager, you have to complete 4 courses. If you want to be a property management master, you have to complete all 8 courses. But we only require the 4-course certification. When you have that certification, now you have to be approved by Forrest and by our company attorney, Darren, who will look at it, what's your background, how many transactions have you closed. They're going to look at a few things because they're looking for, at the liability end of it. Here's what's really, and why they really are. 65% of all lawsuits in the state of California come from property management. Okay. So it's pretty high end there. Secondly, that homeowner must maintain $1 million homeowner insurance coverage on their property for liability reasons. And just to give you a quick scenario, and some of you already know this, as to why they're so strict, is we recently, a few years back, had to pay out over $7 million on a property management that we had 0 liability in. And what happened was an agent was managing, it was a fourplex property, needed to be painted. And so he gave the homeowner several quotes. Here's the quotes. The homeowner said, oh, no, I can get it done much cheaper than that. I'm going to take care of it. So the homeowner hires his painter and got his deal. And apparently how he stored the paint overnight was a problem because the place caught on fire and adults and children perished. Horrible scenario. And again, how did we have any liability in that, right? We had none. But because we managed the property, and like our attorney said, the last thing you want to do is put up burnt children in front of a jury, right? That does not look good, especially for a company that has deep pockets. Right. So, they just are very cautious, and they just want to make sure the homeowner's insured and you have the right training before we go in, because there's a lot of things that are involved in property management. So if you're going to, or if you have a client that says, well, I just need you to handle all this stuff, the answer is Yes, with the property management certification and agreement after you've been approved. So if it's something that you're thinking about, please come and talk to me. I'll direct you through the channels, and then I'll put you with Forrest and Darren so they can go through what's important that you'll need to learn from them. And so let's see, we covered that, we covered that. And then if you've got a lease listing, and again, none of the proceeds should come to you. It should all go directly to the homeowner. Conversations all are now the homeowner. There's no need for a move in, move out. Just have the tenant tell the homeowner within 3 days of moving in if what's wrong with the property. Everything goes between those two. But if you're managing in any way, shape, or form, we need to put in a property management agreement. Okay. And so you can see me if you have any questions on that. Any questions on leases, listings, tenants, or property management? Yes.
If you take down this listing, you have to ask for a permit, for a purchase permit, and then most cities require.
Okay. As a homeowner?
As a homeowner, when you're gonna take.
Okay, so the question is do homeowners need to get a permit? And the answer is yes. Yeah, in fact, if that's a good question, thank you for bringing it up. If somebody is asking you about leasing their home, just make sure the first thing you do is direct them to the city and the county for their questions. You should not be the one answering their questions because it's so fluid. Any kind of rentals right now, all the cities are, having their aches and pains with. So say, yes, there are requirements. You have to call the city and the county, ask your questions. You need to get a business permit. And you need to make sure that the home that you're going to be listing for lease, you can list, especially the short-term rentals. Usually 30 days or longer, it's not an issue, but some HOAs require a minimum of 60 days or 90 days. So you need to make sure that you're in compliance. Okay.
You have to do that each time, or is it a one-time business?
It's a yearly renewal. It's a yearly renewal. It's a business. And that's another thing. When you're talking to your clients and they're thinking about doing this, let them know what you're doing is starting a business. And so you have to make sure you have funds available. So when that roof starts leaking, you can get in there and get it fixed, right? Of course, I would never manage a property without that homeowner having a home warranty in place, right? I want them to call the home warranty company at 11 o'clock at night. Don't call me at 11 o'clock at night telling me your toilet's overflowing because I'm not getting out of bed. Right? So that home warranty company is important. I did used to have to get out of bed, which is why I put that rule in place quickly. So
It's important to put that in writing that the lease agreement says the tenants will be responsible for
the $75 fee.
and then tenants take it back.
Yes. What Kana is saying that you can't hear probably on Zoom is to make sure you put that in writing in the paperwork that their HOA or in the lease agreement that the home warranty is in place and the tenant will pay for the service call fee of which is normally $75. Yes, on average it ranges 70, 75, 80. It's just different for whatever. But yeah, that works much better. That works much better. But let them know it is a business. If the AC goes out in the middle of summer, they can't just say, well, we can't get somebody there for 3 days, right? There's a health and safety issue there. So they have to be aware of the laws. They have to understand they are now running a business and they need to treat it accordingly. They can't be emotional over it. It just needs to be ran like a business.
I've run to a tenant's house almost at night for the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we've all Kana said she's ran to tenant homes at 10 o'clock at night with a fan. Yeah, absolutely. I know I've had to run at 11 o'clock at night one night with a blanket because there were no blankets in the closet. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I know there was one. I had no idea what had happened to it, but to Walmart I went, bought the blanket and drove it to the house and said, here you go. Because that's what you do when you're doing property management. Yeah, fun times. Fun times. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. That was a good question. Now, okay, we have one on chat here. Let's see. status on COVID-19 restrictions on evictions. I don't think there are any restrictions right now, right? Have they extended that? I heard there might be extending it, but I haven't heard that they did. And I think what our attorney has been telling everybody recently is check with the people who know this stuff best are the eviction companies. There's one that Darren Welsh has used in the past with other clients. But he suggests any questions about evictions or the process or how long it's going to take, because as you can imagine with the moratorium on evictions, there's a backlog from before COVID. And then with the moratorium, there was 2 years of no evictions. And now when it goes back in, I know to July, possibly July, Lance, I don't know the exact date off the top of my head, but in any event, all those are going to be backlogged now. When that moratorium is lifted, they've got 2 years of evictions to process. So if you've got a tenant that's not moving out and not paying their rent, you can start the eviction process. I'd recommend that pretty quickly, because it may take a while for it to get through the court system because of the backlog that's already there. So that's going to be an issue, without question. That's going to be an issue. When you're listing and selling properties, guys, and there's a tenant in place, I recommend that tenant be out. If your client wants to move in and take possession of that property, I strongly recommend you make sure that tenant's out before escrow closes, or the buyer may end up having to evict that tenant, right? So depending on what those buyers' goals are, that could be challenging. So, okay.
Gina,
Anyway.
the state eviction expires March 31st.
March 31st. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's for the state. Local could be different, but that's the state.
Okay, I appreciate that, Derek.
Okay.
Okay. Although speaking of, I don't even think about COVID now. I know that's probably really bad because they've lifted all this stuff. It's just business as usual. Although I was looking at a listing the other day, and as I think of this, I'm going to tell all of you, if you have a listing, please go read it and make sure there shouldn't be changes. A listing I saw a couple days ago said a PED form is required, and I'm thinking, come on, guys, go in there and update your MLS. There are no PEDs. There are no PEDs any longer. So thank God. That was always fun. Okay, with no more questions, we will move on to my next subject, which is listing your own personal residence. And so I wanted to bring this up because I know we don't talk about it a lot, but there are occasions when an agent wants to sell their own home, right? So because of somebody, oh, so I don't know who this is. I don't know how to mute it. I'll just move it. Okay, there we go. All right, so because of our errors and omissions, understand our errors and omissions is there to protect our agents, okay? Our attorneys are there to protect our agents. So if you have a dispute between the client and the agent, our attorneys are there to help our agents. When you're selling your own property, you become the client and the agent, right? And so there is now a conflict of interest because you're operating as a seller and not as a agent. And the E&O is there to cover the agent. Does that make sense? So because of that reason, we don't allow our agents to sell their own home because of the E&O scenario. And if they do, you come and talk to me when it happens, if you need to do that, because we need to go through and work out the details. But here's the thing, and also liability concerns with the DRE because of the conflict. If you have a friend or somebody that you work closely with at Berkshire, you can compensate that agent $500 to $1,000, list their home. It's just negotiated between the two of you. What you need that agent to do is to do all the paperwork, put it on the MLS. But as the homeowner, you're still in charge. I mean, you're the homeowner as always, right? You get the final say with everything. The agent owner will pay for your own marketing and photos. The agent who's doing it at a discounted rate, they're not going to have any out of pocket, right? They're doing you a favor.
Right.
Any fees, TC fees, if you have the 135, per transaction, you want it, all those will come out of your commission. But if you've sold at least 3 transaction sides over the last 12 months, the difference is you don't have to pay Berkshire's split. You get to keep 100% of it.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, there's a trade-off. So if you're selling your own home, again, you always have to pay the franchise fee off the top. Then you pay the other agent whatever amount they're going to do your paperwork for you. And then you get to keep 100% of it. And you get one of those a year. You can do more if you want to, but you're just going to have to do it at regular splits. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the free transaction is once a year. And this is what I attached this so you can see it. If you have any questions on it, let me know. And then of course, if you're buying, the rules are different. You can buy and represent yourself. Regardless, please make sure you disclose. Agent is a licensed salesperson, and you're buying this for your own personal property or your own residence or whatever. Make sure that's in there. If you're listing or selling on the MLS, you have to have that disclosure.
Gina,
Uh-huh.
what if it's like you're a family member, a son, or did you just handle it regular?
You handle it regularly, but that disclosure still needs to be there that list or buyer's agent or however, if they're listing or selling, agent is related to the buyer. Okay, or whomever you're representing. Okay, any other questions there? Nope. All right, and then one last thing I wanted to just talk to you guys about is advertising. And I know many of you have gotten the weekly emails. Hi, Abraham. Weekly emails about advertising in the Desert Sun. And here it is, our retreats. And it is ridiculously small. It is now 11 pages, 12 pages, 12 pages totally. But it's also online. Okay, so what I hear a lot is, no, my listings are selling so fast, I don't need to advertise. Here's what I want you to remember. Okay, it's not about selling your listing. Whenever you're putting yourself in the newspaper, in a magazine, any marketing that you're putting out there, it's about name recognition for you. Okay, you do it for your homeowners and for the sellers. They want to see their home out there and marketed, and that's a great thing. But if you can advertise, if you can pop for that $75 and be in here, yes, here seller, this is what I've done for you. Even if it went into escrow in 5 minutes, here's what I did for you. But now you can use this at future listing presentations. Here's one of the ways I will market your home, right? Not too many agents. Obviously, it's 12 pages, not too, and 10 of these pages are articles, how to create a home hobby room, right? So it's not a lot, but because not a lot of agents are, whose name is going to be popped out? Yours is. Right? You're going to stand out. I can tell you every single week under featured listings here, Jeff and Ray, they're in our Oasis Country Club office. Every week without fail, they are in here. But if I'm thinking about buying an Oasis, oh my gosh, well, who am I going to call? I'm going to call Jeff and Ray because they're the only ones in here that advertise week after week after week. So if you and their ad is Oasis Country Club, with they have their office hours, the office number. You can promote, if you're farming in an area, promote, this particular area, pricing from this to this, call me for details. It doesn't have to be a specific.
They're gonna start locking the
No,
laundry.
you got, whoever is iPhone, can you please mute? Okay, let me see. There you go. Thank you. Okay.
That's digital as well.
It is digital as well. So anytime you advertise in here, It's also online. So that, you know, if you're ever gonna, I mean, there's one open house in here. Oh my gosh. But if you were having an open house, would you not want to be in here? Because everybody who's looking for open houses are gonna see there's only a couple, and guess what? It's you. So there's some really positives as to why you want to market and advertise here. Featured listing page charges $99 per property. You can advertise every other week with the Berkshire Hathaway section for $75 a property. And so if you don't have a listing and you're thinking, I'd really like to do that, that you can borrow one. Look at our listings, call the listing agent and say, hey, I see you have this listing. Would you mind if I advertised it? Right? So, you know, most agents will say, please advertise it and sell it. Right? That's the whole goal, is to get it sold. But if you can't do that, then think of how you can market yourself personally for farming purposes. There's always, and we can brainstorm, we can talk about different ideas. So just wanted to plug that out. You know, we are in a position right now, and you know me, I'm all about going after those listings. We're in a position right now where more and more listings are going to start coming on the market, right? You want to be the person that is top of mind. So marketing and advertising right now is your best friend. You can do it on social media, which is great there, but there's a lot of agents there right now too, isn't there? There's not a lot of agents right here in print. So think about where's my presence? How am I putting myself out there? And am I on social media? If you're not using Agent Icon, you know, you could be missing out on some potential business. So Agent Icon is awesome. If you don't know what that is, come see me and I'll show you. If you want print media, we have the print media. If Prestige Magazine comes out quarterly for high-end homes, if you want to market or advertise some of your high-end homes or listings for $100, you can be in that magazine and it's distributed worldwide. It's phenomenal. So there's a lot of good pluses. Just think about that as we're moving forward into the second quarter now. What are your marketing and advertising goals? Where should you put your money to get the biggest bang for your buck? And that's what you really need to be thinking about right now, because I want you to get all the listings. Obviously. Okay. Any questions on that? Pretty simple. I don't think Mason got here yet. I know he started in Palm Desert this morning. So where's Maria?
We're here.
Hi, Maria. Oh, wait.
Quiet.
I know. That's because I'm yapping too much. Hi, Abraham. There you go, my dear.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So I'm here if anybody needs sky slope help, even if you just want to do a Zoom call, we can do it. And I'll show you how to, because I know a lot of agents are asking me, how do you split? How do you do a transaction? So I'm here and I'm available. Both me and Imelda are available.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. And one thing I'm going to piggyback on to Maria for is I kind of need your help with something, if you guys would be so kind. So no, that's okay. So, you know, when escrow closes and you're getting your commission check, you might get a text from Maria that basically says, did you like working with that other agent? Thumb up, thumb down, you know, whatever. If you would just respond to that, that would be great, because we're all working together. If somebody's a really good agent, I may reach out to them and congratulate them, even invite them for a conversation. But if they were not a great agent, I don't want to reach out to them and say, hey, Elisa said you were awesome. And they're going to say, we fought the entire time, right? So anyway, your help on that's appreciated. I've heard, and just before we go into Imelda here, I've heard some agents say, well, why would I want to do that? Because it's just bringing more competitors in here. You guys, they're already your competitors. They're already out there, right? Would you not rather have them here, build more signage, build more market share, have more advertising opportunities, have more listing and open house opportunities? It's a win-win for everybody. So thank you for reaching out and trying to get that feedback. Thank you to all you sales executives for actually responding, because that's awesome. And then if you want a piece of the pie, just give me the profit builder form, fill it out, give it to me, and you get profit builder for the rest of your career whenever they close an escrow. Remember, so that's decent. That's good money. Okay, Imelda, you're on.
So we have a couple of trainings coming up. Just so you know, April the 7th at 11:30 a.m. We're having a lunch and learn with a legendary escrow. So if you guys want to, they'll be bringing lunch, so you can RSVP with me. And then also on April 27th at 11:30, we're gonna have BPI here for a lunch and learn as well. So we're just trying to make it to where we're gonna have our vendors as well as our affiliates come in and show you what their services are.
For those of you who aren't familiar with BPI, it's a home inspection. They're the ones that bring the candy.
Yes, the ones that are making
all the
us fat.
candy in the office. Yeah, that's them. So I bet they'll have candy here for you.
So just shoot me an email if you're gonna be attending, and I'll also be sending an email out, and just RSVP with me.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Okay. And I know you guys will all agree with me that Maria and Imelda are doing an amazing job, and you guys, bravo to both of you. You just are the best, and I'm so happy you're here. Okay. All right. Tomorrow morning, yes, bright and early, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. I repeat. I don't know why I stuttered. See, I don't know if you guys. I guess I wanted you to know it's at 9 a.m. tomorrow. How to have your best year ever in real estate and in life. This is technically going to be an encore performance. There's Mason. Howdy. This guy, he's the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Beach Properties of Florida. And he was part of the convention, and his room, it was so sold out and overpacked that hundreds of agents couldn't even get in. And it was, the feedback was so tremendous that they said, okay, we're going to put this on for everybody in the company. And so they're doing it tomorrow at what time? 9 a.m. Absolutely. And so he's going to be sharing his 7-step process for incredible growth in the coming year and beyond. And so we're going to have it via Zoom here in the office. You also got an email about this, or you should have gotten an email about this. And if you want to watch it from your home on Zoom, that's fine too. But definitely check it out, because you will learn something. You will walk away with something that you didn't think about in the past. So that's Jimmy Burgess tomorrow morning at 9. And then tomorrow at noon, YPN through CDAR, YPN is doing a top producers panel. The panel is not a local panel though. This is California, I guess, YPN. But we've got an agent from Silicon Valley, an agent from the Bay Area, and an agent from Orange County. They're going to be on at noon tomorrow, and we're going to Zoom it here in the office again. And then, of course, next Tuesday, don't forget, mark your calendars to be live here in the office, because she's going to be bringing some swag too. So Mayor Linda Evans is going to be our special guest next Tuesday. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, so that's what I have for you. Don't forget, be on the lookout for phishing emails. Don't only forward them to support@bhhsnv.com. If you get a text from me that's not from my number, report it to the fraud people at this right here, reportfraud.ftc.gov, because I will never send you any text or email asking for money or gift cards. I just won't do that. Okay. One-on-one, my Calendly seems to be fixed now. Yay. But then, so if you want to schedule some time with me, you're always welcome. And do we have any plugs and wants? Hi, Kana. Oh, look at everybody. Hi, guys. Oh, wait, here, put this on so they can hear you.
The one in Cordona's 3-bed, 3-bath is becoming available starting May 4th, $3,500 a month.
Long
It's a
term or short term?
short term, but this would be perfect for somebody who wants to, come during the summertime to look for a property, and kind of like in between, bridge property. And it's $3,500 a month, and then it includes the utility. We have $200 cap, but it's a community with a pool, and gym and barbecue and yeah, so it's an immaculate home. So no pet though. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, awesome. You're welcome. Thank you. Any other plugs or wants? Upcoming listings, exciting news. Okay, how about here? Anybody have anything, plugs or wants you want to bring up? Eileen's there working diligently on getting a listing. I see her on the phone. Okay, then with that said, we will end our meeting. Don't forget Mark Stark is today at 1:30. He's actually going to be talking about teams and finding somebody really great to work with on a team. So that's his 1:30 today. I am here for you always. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out and let's make it a fantastic week. Thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Gina.
Thanks,
Thank
Gina.
you.
Thank
Thank you, Gina.
Okay, thank you, Gina.
Thank you. Okay, I think, did I hit stop?